Bob writes about it. Jim talks about it. But Chuck did something about it.
Foreman on a big hole across the 10. He's something else. He's out in touchdown land. He's something else, baby.
Now, here's longtime columnist Bob Sansevere, Fox 9's Jim Rich, and the great number 44,
Double 4.
Chuck Foreman.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the JimBob Sports Jamboree with Vikings legend Chuck Foreman, another legend, the superstar Mike Morris, another legend, Tyler Ganz from the Window Store. This show brought to you by the Window Store, so we're going to kiss up to him big time. Jim Rich from Fox 9, I'm Bob Sansevere, and Chuck, Mike, Tyler, Jim, what do you think of the news of the week? They signed Daniel Jones, who was on wave. The Giants waived him. He's the guy that beat him in the postseason a few years ago. Go, Chuck!
Another guy that's a quarterback that was with a crappy team. The guy's got all kinds of athletic ability. He can throw the ball. Now, I know he's been under a lot of pressure and made some dumb mistakes. No question about it. I'm not taking anything. But he's with the quarterback whisperer now. He's with a guy that can bring the best out of him. Now, I'm liking Sam Darnold. Don't misunderstand me. I don't think he's not going to replace him. But what I'm saying to you is this is a good place for him mentally, because I'm sure they're going to address a lot of stuff that he's in the past just to get it out the way, and they'll fix him. Whether it's here or it's on some other team, I'm telling you, it was great that he got out of New York. First of all, New York in itself, well, you from the... You know what I'm saying. You from
He's from
Jersey.
It's
you people that have ruined him.
It's Jersey. You call him New York. He's a
You
Jersey.
ruined Darnold. You ruined Favre. You're ruining Rodgers right now. Look what you people do up there.
That's
It's
right.
Jersey.
And so anyway, what I'm saying is, I'm glad he's here, and it'll be a good thing for him mentally.
All right, Mike, what do you think of this?
Two big apples in town now. Those guys, I think they're both very similar in a lot of ways. The position in the draft, I mean, their stature, they're big, strong, raw athletes is what they are. Both of them are. And so it really, I think, is very, very, very helpful to have someone like that on the backdrop in case something happens. And we've seen Darnold down a couple times. He's made it back to the field, but it's scary to see him go down because you're looking at Mullins, who may or may not be. We don't really know, but I like the idea of Daniel Jones being there.
And Tyler, as a fan, would you like this move?
I do like the move. I mean, it's very similar to Sam Darnold. If you think about him going, to San Fran and kind of putting his head back on his shoulder, I think it's a great move. Mm-hmm. For Daniels to come in here, I think he's got a great shot to work for a good organization, hone his skills and maybe have a shot someplace else next year. But obviously, as a fan, I love having him coming off the bench, hopefully, than Mullins. I mean, I'm just going to say that I'd rather have him on the field.
Here's the problem, though, Jim. You have a guy in Jones who could have signed with the Raiders and started maybe next week. Coming here, it doesn't make great sense, though, in terms of will he ever start for this team. It could be if McCarthy's not ready, but I mean, that's the one thing that you wonder about. He wants to be with a playoff contender, but he may be on the practice squad the rest of the year.
Chuck, you got a thought on that first. I'll let you go.
Let me tell you.
Go for it.
This guy definitely needs to be someplace where he's going to be, I don't want to say it. He's going to be in a great place with a great quarterback coach that's going to help him get back in play. Now, whether he's going to stay here, I don't know, but he's going to be a good backup to have if something should happen to Sam Darnold. And not only that, he's going to be able to get that confidence back. Because, look, that guy's an athlete, and he can run. He's big. He's fast. He's got a rifle for an arm. He's just been, like I've said before, and all these young quarterbacks, they throw him in with these crappy teams, and then they expect him to turn them around when they don't give him anything to work with. Now, with the Vikings, he's got two great receivers. We got the greatest receiver right now in the NFL. We got the second one coming on, Addison, and we got the big tight end. We got everything offensively that he would need to get him back into play.
Well, here's the thing that's interesting, though. Brian Dable was his coach. He was the quarterback whisperer for Josh Allen, allegedly. So maybe some guys just can't be whispered to.
No, because we talking about overall team offensively. They had no receivers. They had no the running back they had that could have helped them. They got rid of. Okay, so here he is on his own. He always needed somebody to be his partner in that offense. Trust me. You got to have. Hey, look, as good as any running back is, he's only as good as what those guys do up front. and I don't care what you say.
All right, we put it out on the JimBob Sports Jamboree Twitter account right now, a poll. Who will be the Vikings starting quarterback in 2025? Will it be Mr. Darnold? Will it be Mr. McCarthy? Or will it be Mr. Jones? Or someone not on the roster? Tyler, you go first.
Gosh, that is a great question. I think Sam Darnold's not here next year. I think he's going somewhere, right? And I don't think we're ready for JJ to step on the field quite yet. I think he needs more time. I'm going, if we can keep Mr. Jones here, I think he's got a good shot of starting week 1, 2025.
I think that may be the answer, and I think that's why Jones came here. Mike?
I think that it comes down to contracts and the kind of money that any of these quarterbacks are going to be looking at, except for JJ. He's locked in, but he's a big unknown still. He has to get the knee right. We don't know anything about that or how far along he is with his knee, but he certainly has not proven a single down yet. So outside of a preseason game or two, but I think that Darnold he's auditioning right now, and the money's going to be there for a guy that, depending on how he finishes the season out, he could be looking for a pretty good paycheck somewhere else. He also knows what security means now. Not to be at a team where nothing was working for him, and he comes to the team with the right coaching, the right chemistry, the right things that Chuck Foreman was just now talking about with the offensive line and the running back to help him out with the receiving core. Life can be good if you're in the right place. Maybe he doesn't want to go anywhere. Home is home. But Daniels is going to be that guy, though. He'll be the ace up the sleeve. And I mean, it could be that kind of guy, too, with Kevin O'Connell.
Okay. Sam Darnold, I don't care what anybody says. I've seen him improve greatly since he's been here. I mean, he's a starter, and he's a darn good quarterback. If anybody thinks he's leaving, or if he won't be leaving on his own, he'll be leaving on his own accord, not because he can't play. Maybe because somebody's going to give him more money, but not the fact that he can't lead the Vikings to greener pastures, no doubt about it. Yeah, it's good that you got Daniels here, but in the same token, he's not coming in here to replace Sam Darnold. Now, I mean, it's good to have him as a backup, and I'm not saying he's not going to reach the place where he wants to be as a quarterback in the NFL, no doubt about it. But Sam Darnold, to me, is earning his right to be here and to make that choice because it's going to be a quarter. It's going to come down to the contract.
Daniel Jones, the problem with him is, or Darnold, if Darnold leaves, he's going to need a line that can protect. This line has done a really good job. They've been able to protect him. The fact they give him too much time sometimes, he'll get creamed on some teams.
But he's not going to make that mistake again to go to a team with a
may not have that many options for quarterback needy teams.
Then he'll stay here.
But they're not going to pay him.
But he'll take less.
He's going to want the big money.
He's already got big.
He's going to wind up going to Raiders and get crushed because they have no line and no receivers.
Exactly.
If anyone knows that, it's him. I think he's probably a little more reluctant to just take off and go to any team.
He's not going to any team. I'm telling you that. He's already had that experience.
Yeah.
For how many years?
Long time.
He's not going back into that type of situation.
Well, where he could wind up, and this would be great for him, the line's not that great, but the receivers are, the Rams. Because how much longer will Stafford want to go? I mean, you're talking about a 27-year-old Sam Darnold.
We just got
and McVay's going to like him.
We just got the. He's shipping them off already.
They're not going to pay Darnold. That's what makes the beauty of J.J. McCarthy. He's on a rookie deal.
Trust me, J.J. ain't nowhere near ready to play in the NFL.
And I don't disagree.
He wasn't even ready to play in college, in my opinion. He was a good quarterback. He had a great coach and a great running game, and he didn't do a whole lot throwing the ball.
What do you think? What do you guys think Darnold would come back for? He's not going to come back for $10 million, which is the deal he's on now.
I don't think anyone's going to be $10 million anymore. With the market being where it is, just wherever you stack up next, it's going to be well ahead of $10 million.
Every year it goes up and up.
Yeah, and I just think he'll be in good shape. I think that his appreciation for coming to a team that knew what to do with him, put him in a system that he's comfortable with, is telling a lot. I think a guy who's been in complete misery in New York City trying to make a living on the football field, he knows.
Yeah, right. Look, and being in Bob, we from the East Coast. We East Coast people are different.
Wow. Imagine if he wasn't. Okay, Giant fans are much kinder than, say, Eagle fans would have been.
No doubt. Eagle fans are absolutely off the chain. I mean, them in New England.
Yeah.
Yeah, trust me, I played up in New England. And I was like, wow, I was scared myself. Really?
Yeah. Anything out on these.
You were in New England.
I was in New
weren't you?
England. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Oh.
You talking? I mean, fights. I mean, they go toe to toe too. No, really. It's
I mean,
the way that is.
Chicago, New England, yeah, all those. New York, both teams.
But Philadelphia,
and Philadelphia's
too.
the
Yeah.
worst. Philadelphia's the worst.
Well, what they do, they like, what is it? Grease the light poles there. They say.
Yeah.
So when they came to Minnesota, I put a thing on my Facebook and said, we don't grease our light poles here, but you can lick them. It's a tradition. Try it.
I'll tell you what, they still tried climbing them, no question about it. All right, you know what? We need to take a quick break. But before we do, Jim has some important information about our pals in Maple Grove.
Yes, so you do. They have great things going on right now because they are your holiday headquarters, Maple Grove, Minnesota. Did you know Maple Grove is second only to the Mall of America in retail space? That's right. The restaurant capital of Minnesota has everything from boutique specialty shops and spas to the top brands like Sitka and Lululemon. I know, Mike, you're always at Lulu. I've seen you there a couple times when I drive by.
They know my sizes.
They do. You could shop there, you could grab a bite to eat, and you could stop at nearly 150 different restaurants. That's what makes it a great family place to get together because everybody can hop on Main Street and just go wherever they want, any stores they want, and also it's also the outdoor recreation season, right? You got to get the kids outside. Well, they have the skating loop right there at Central Park. And Elm Creek now, which is already making snow for the season, is a hot spot for snowboarding, tubing, cross-country ski trails are amazing. So head over to experiencemaplegrove.com for hotel and shopping packages, including a free gift card for your night's stay. It's Experience Maple Grove. You're listening to the JimBob Sports Jamboree. We'll be back. We'll talk a little Cardinals. We'll talk a little of the Bears meltdown and how do the Vikings get J.J. McCarthy, or not J.J. Well, they got to get him the ball someday too. But how about J.J., the original Justin Jefferson, the football? That has to be discussed. Bob, do you got your thoughts on how to get it to him?
Yeah, get a better coach. No, wow. No, the whole thing with I am tired, and I said this, I'll be very quick. I'm tired of people saying he's an offensive genius because an offensive genius would make sure the number one receiver in football can find ways to get him the ball. I don't care if he's double or triple teamed. Chuck Foreman was the best running back in football, led the league in receptions one year, 3 or 4 years, and he was the top pass catcher in the league. Jerry Burns found ways to get him the ball. Maybe you shorten the routes to get him the ball. You do something, maybe more, you can do screens. You can do, there's a lot of plays you can call crossing routes where you shake these guys. There are ways to do it, and we're going to talk about it upon our return.
Here we go. 3, 2. Welcome back to the JimBob Sports Jamboree with Vikings legend Chuck Foreman, the superstar Mike Morris, Tyler Ganz of the Window Store. And before we get into more McCarthy, more Justin Jefferson, Tyler, it's Thanksgiving. Obviously, you're giving your guys a couple days off, but you still have a great Black Friday deal cooking, correct?
We do. Yeah, that deal is going to go to the end of the month. All you need to do is schedule an appointment time. It can be in December. It's a busy schedule time right now. But if you book before the end of the month an appointment, we will give you 50% off. No joking on this. As an employee, we didn't raise prices and drop them. Like, this is it. It's the real price of all year. We're going to cut it in half. Again, you hear me say it every week. We got to keep guys busy around the holidays. So please, you need a couple windows, we'll do it. We'll get it ordered. If we have to wait till spring, because that's fine. But as long as we got orders on the books, we keep guys going. So,
all right. How do people find you guys?
WindowsStoreInc.com is the best way of doing it. You can schedule right there an appointment. Black Friday is right on the top. Skull Marketing does a great job for us there. You'll see it right top banner. 50% off. Click it, schedule it. Let's go.
All right. And on top of Windows, there's other projects. Do the other projects get the 50% off treatment as well?
Every project. So if you with that kitchen, you're tired of that golden oak kitchen, you want to update it to have some nice shaker doors and new hardware, soft close, closed doors and drawers, now's the time to order it. We'll get that thing done, make it look pretty. Any investment in your kitchen basically, from our studies, the return on investment is about 75%. So you spend a little money with us, you get it right back in the value of your home. It's a great deal.
There you go. All right. Speaking of restocking the drawer, Daniel Jones, as we touched on last segment, is here as a Viking. The other carrot of this deal is with him signing here and then say he leaves at the end of the season because he's only on the practice squad through the end of the year, the Vikings would get a compensatory draft pick. And that's something they're short of as well. So even if this doesn't work, they figure out Jones is, not salvageable, that we're going to let him go on the market, or he wants somewhere where he thinks he can start right away, whatever. The Vikings get another draft pick. And that's huge right now because they possess only 3 at this point, Chuck.
Oh, that's true. But the way I'm looking at it is he's here. Certainly, we got how many weeks left? He's here to hone up his skill set.
Got about 6 weeks to go.
And what there's not a better place to do that than right here with our quarterback coach, O'Connell. I think it can work out well for both parties as far as him being a backup, a capable backup that will come in and, he can make some plays as long as he doesn't, do the turnover thing. But I don't think he will because we got a better line than where he came from. But I think... I thought it was a good move on the Vikings' part, and certainly it's a good move on Daniel's part. I think he put a lot of thought into it, and I'm pretty sure that he talked to Sam Darnold before he even came here. I guarantee you.
Yeah, Mike, it does say a lot about this Viking coaching staff that these guys see what he does, even what he did with Dobbs. I mean, Dobbs' greatest games as a quarterback were here in Minnesota.
Yep. I mean, Kevin's got a good feel for the game. He was a quarterback. He went to New England. He was under Brady and Belichick for a while. I mean, if he didn't know football before he got there, he certainly did know after he was there. And so he definitely knows the game. And I think he's got a good feel for players and how to reach them, how to connect with them. And Dobbs, for instance, I mean, I think that was just a natural fit, was to be able to call a play through his headset, right up till – you're supposed to turn the microphone off.
Yeah,
I mean, he had his 15
that
seconds and actually could talk to him as he was going up to the ball, and then he knew the microphone was going to come off, so he gave him as much as he could about the read before he got to the line of scrimmage. So that was genius, kind of. And then now with Darnold and with Daniel Jones, it's going to work itself out. It's like Bud Grant would say, "Don't make a decision until you have to." It'll play itself back. Like however the season goes with Darnold. It's going to say a lot about how aggressive the Vikings will be on keeping him here instead of straying off and going somewhere else. I think he knows that he should probably stay where he's found a home. And then the same thing with Daniels. Daniel Jones. But if he does find that O'Connell can reach him and find a way to make the light bulb come on, and this is how I used to play. It can work in the pros. If someone knows and teaches him what that system is, I think that we have another great chance at having a quarterback if Darnold goes. JJ's got a lot of proving to do. I mean, just all over the place. He's a rookie, and that's the way we're going to leave it. For me, he's a rookie until he shows up with a helmet.
Yeah. And Tyler, one other thing about O'Connell is the fact that he was in this same boat as these quarterbacks that are floundering, right? He was a backup. Yeah. He never made it. So I'm sure he's learned a lot of what he would have liked for himself, how he would have wanted to been handled, or what was missing in his career. He knows he can empathize with these guys and go, I've been there. I know what this is like. Let me get you through this.
Yeah, I think this really speaks to our culture as a team, and it gives our coaching staff, like you said, they're great. People want to come and play here because it's a positive atmosphere. I mean, you watch these speeches after the game with O'Connell. I mean, he loves these guys. It's not a joke. He's tearing up in every speech. He bleeds purple, bleeds this team, and people want to be around that. People want to feel like they're welcome. People want to be built up, not tore down. And so you're right. I think from all of his past experience, all his failures has now come this great success, and that's amazing to see.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the lack of success for Justin Jefferson, Chuck. Last week, 2 catches, 27 yards. 3 straight weeks now he's been held under 100 yards receiving. The offense hasn't been clicking in the red zone. Last week, 3 of 7 on the trips inside the Bears 20. What has to happen here with McCarthy moving forward? Are we looking at days of what Mike had to deal with in the Randy ratio?
I don't know. I just think, when they want to take a guy out of the game, they can take him out of the game. When I say that, I mean they can game plan for him no matter what he does. They'll put 3 people. They'll assign 3 people and design a defense just to stop him. Because they figure they can stop him, the big play guy, and the rest of the things they can manage. And so I think for the most part, that's what's happening now. Certainly he can beat double coverage, no question about that. But when you getting bumped off the ball, then you come into another guy you got to get rid of, then you got to come to another 3 people. I mean, it's an attribute to how great he is. But, yeah, they're going to have to figure out a way to get him that ball regardless, And so I don't think it's so much – I don't know. I think a lot of the teams that I've seen him keep him in check, they've really dedicated, 2 or 3 guys to take him out of the game.
Mike, you were around for the Randy ratio with Coach Tice. Randy, obviously – much more vocal, not getting the football back in the day. Justin Jefferson has said everything right. He said, please, thank you, may I have another? And he has been very, on the outside, this isn't a problem for me. But when does it become a problem for him and this team? And how did the Vikings handle it with Moss?
I think, Randy was content with a lot of the things too, and he just talked a little bit just to get the press worked up. I mean, if he had to stand at the line of scrimmage and pull 2 guys over to that side and take them out of the routes and let Chris Carter or Jake Reed, whatever the case, get open, he was willing to do that. He didn't put up a stink on the field. He put up a stink in the press. He did what he needed to do to get what he wanted. If he was trying to needle somebody or get under somebody's skin, the press, he would do whatever he said. And now he's a pretty good member of the press. He knew how to work the system. Randy's not stupid. Randy's smart.
Yes.
Now, the other side of things is that JJ is smart, and he's a great player. He's got similar numbers, maybe better. Hard to say that, but he's going to be willing to do whatever it takes to win, and they're winning. So he's not putting up a stink right now over anything. He wants to win. If I got to stand over here on this side of the field and we can live with Addison or Hawkinson, he'd be willing to do that, I think. But he's a good enough player that he should be able to. It's like playing chess. They'll look at 3 games, and they're going to study the tendencies, and now it's going to be up to us to find out what you think they'll do to you because they've noticed how to take Jefferson out of the game for 3 weeks. And knowing that they're going to come with a lot of that package, you got to find out. You got to think of something that Jefferson can do to counter that. And he can do it. He can do anything from any position.
Another thing, you know how they devaluate the running back?
Absolutely.
They better rethink that.
Absolutely, I agree.
Because I'm talking about not only here but everywhere. The running back is the guy that dictates the tempo of a game. He does a lot of different things. You get a good running game going. Number one, you're working the clock. It's going. You're doing all these other things that's going to open up the plays for the wide receiver. Oh, I gotta watch Chuck Foreman coming out of the backfield, or Aaron Jones coming out of the backfield. I got to worry about him running the ball. You see, when this whole thing about as far as like the running back is not that important, that's crazy. Because now you can see they can just take when you don't have a running game, they can just concentrate on those wide receivers.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you got to have a running game, and that's going to open up everything for JJ and Addison.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll dive into the Cardinals, how this shapes up this week. Vikings finally back home after being gone for the last week. This show brought to you by Window Store. The Window Store, they've got Black Friday special going on. We'll talk about that after the break if you missed it. Or what's the website, Tyler? People could just go there, get their quote in, and get 50% off?
windowstoreinc.com.
And we're also brought to you by Maple Grove. Experience maplegrove.com for hotel and shopping packages going on, including a free gift card with your night's stay. So check it out. They've got you set. You know, they call themselves the restaurant capital of the world, or at least Minnesota. Maybe they'll go world next, but we'll see. But they are not bragging. They're just telling you the truth. So check it out at experiencemaplegrove.com. We'll be back with more of the JimBob Sports Jamboree right after this. Here we go. Segment 3 in 3, 2. Welcome back to the JimBob Sports Jamboree presented by the Window Store. And we have Chuck Foreman, Vikings legend. We have Mike Morris, the superstar. And Mr. Morris, there's a couple people backing you here today that have honored us with your presence by their support.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here with you guys, with you slugs, if it wasn't for these people.
Okay.
Yeah. Just
Whatever.
watch your step there. Star, the long snapper. And here sits our Hall of Famer, whether he knows it or not. He's a Hall of Famer, Chuck Foreman. He'll be on. Anyway, we got Ace Hardware. They're one of the people that are smart enough to put me on the list of people that should be on the air and talking. That's what a sponsorship is. You know that, Jim?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks. And they're good people. They're really good people. They're in 4 locations. The Pleachy family is putting this together, and it will be joined by Ace statewide. After we get this kicked off for a month or two. But they are in 4 locations: Zumbrota, Egan, Farmington, and Rosemont. Get over there. If you're looking for hardware, if you're looking for the paint, they've got everything. It's an Ace Hardware store. Go in there, anything you need, they'll be able to help you out. If it's a Weber grill or a Yeti cooler or Scott's Turf Builder, they've got the whole thing right there. Stop off, say hi, tell them the superstar Mike Morris sent you. And if you don't, I'll come up with something. We also have...
Well, you got to have a way to get there.
You have to
right?
have wheels.
And you're going to load up on great stuff to fix your house, to get things squared away.
You
got to put
2x4s
Christmas presents in there. You need
The
a
tree,
truck.
yeah.
The tree, everything.
the whole 9 yards.
You got to go to Ace to get the saw first.
And how are you going to get there? You just drive right down past the landfills, and you head on into Dodge of Burnsville. It's located in Burnsville. All you have to do is just bypass the trash, known as the other car dealerships. That's what you do. You just don't even go in and talk to them. Go into Dodge of Burnsville, say hi to Mark and Adam Saba. Step in there, you'll see what I'm talking about. They've got the new, the used. They'll make a great trade for you and set you up. And don't worry about the vehicle. After you buy it, great service. It'll all be there. One package deal, red carpet, gold stars. Stop in there, Dodge of Burnsville. Tell them Superstar Mike Moore sent you.
There you go. DOB, right?
B stands for Burnsville on that sticker on the back of the car.
I like it.
DOB, Dodge of.
Perfect.
They're in Burnsville.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. Cardinals coming in. Do we want to? We've kind of addressed the red zone concerns of the Vikings against the Bears. Cardinals this week back home. Chuck, what do you see here? Do you see the Vikings racking up win number 5 in a row?
Oh, I think we should win, but they are a much improved team, no doubt about it. The quarterback's playing better. Kyler Murray, he's making the plays he needs to make, and actually making a lot of smart plays. They've got defense playing well. So it's not going to be an easy game, but it's a game we surely should win.
Star?
I think so. I mean, if we haven't learned by now how to take on teams that have a little more to offer, the Bears were a little different team this time around. And you can't just let them linger, and you can't just be passive in the last couple of minutes of a game. You have to come in and take care of business and finish it and not get slacked off, which I think they did. I don't care what anyone says. I think they slacked off a little bit in the last couple of minutes.
Well,
I know they got the onside kick. It was a great kick. It was well executed.
Yep, watermelon.
But yeah, it's
Lucky.
yeah, it can be. It was off of
Johnny
John Munn's
Well, what was he doing up there? Why are you pushing?
Well, he
Like,
has to.
He has to- he
He'll,
runs-
he'll
yeah,
explain it more, but he's got to go get that guy because
Yeah,
if
he
you
does.
stand 10 yards and wait for the ball, here comes a whole herd of humans at you. You're going to get blown back to
He's
your
trying
own
to
20.
protect JJ and those guys and the second layer that's back there to catch it and to get it on the ground.
if the ball goes there, the ball didn't go there. That's my point. Like, what are you doing up there? Well, watch the ball.
Well, you got to look at the football too. I mean, you have to have some awareness about you and be an athlete, but I mean, you've got to get up into that traffic and slow the traffic down so the guys behind you have a clean catch or recovery. So it was wrong place, wrong time.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say to you. Okay, it's the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, you're right.
100%.
Every year it's
You're
going to be
right.
something
You're
crazy.
right.
You know,
You're right.
you know, and 11 points in 23 seconds. I mean,
You just
come
knew it was
on.
gonna
You
happen.
know,
You knew
something
it was
was
gonna
going to happen. You knew, you just didn't know what.
NFC North.
And
NFC
that's
North.
and it's
Same thing.
and it's always like that. I mean, you can be. I mean, even we had dominant teams in my time, but you go against the Bears, it was always wow. It was the toughest game you'll ever play all year. The Green Bay Packers the same way, and it was never back in the day. There used to be you can go down the schedule and put a check mark against the teams that you knew you were going to beat. But every time you see Chicago, Green Bay, you know, I think who else was in there? Detroit.
No, Detroit, you said that was 2 check marks.
That was 2 check marks. But
those games
two-
were close, though, I'll bet.
But I'm just saying there was always that. Instead of putting the check mark, you had a question mark there. You don't know what happened.
Yeah.
You knew they were going to be dirty, number one, and you knew they were going to play hard.
What I really want to see this weekend is it's not played to our competition. We are a better team than Arizona, right? Like, I'd like to see a blowout. I know it's the NFL, but I feel like we're constantly playing down or up to our competition. Let's be the Lions here. Let's blow them out 52-6.
Well, this is the time that every team in the NFL, if you've got playoff hopes, this is when you turn it up and you start, pounding teams and beating them the way you're supposed to, like you said. So this will be, I think the Vikings, this game should, especially being home, be dominant.
I think
in all phases of the game.
I think the one thing that could carry over from that game is the way the offense took control in overtime.
Right.
That they said, all right, the defense got us the stop. Grenard threw the quarterback down, got him 2nd and 17. They got out of there. And then Darnold went to work. 6 for 6, 90 yards, got themselves into field goal range. The defense has bailed us out all the time. This time the offense says, we got your backs. And got 'em out of
Exactly.
there.
And Sam Darnold did it.
Agreed.
Right.
We got the guy that we want. As long as he doesn't take that ankle and scare us another 2 or 3 times. The left knee and the ankle this last time. I was worried when he went into the tent because he got up. It looked bad.
Right.
And then he sat down. He sat down again in the middle of the field, and I thought it would look bad. And,
How fast can Daniel Jones learn the playbook?
we've seen Dobbs. We've seen Dobbs. I like what we've got going on, but you can't. You got to come out, and if the defense can come out and take someone off the field in the overtime period, for me at least, it kind of says they were a little lackluster coming down the stretch in the fourth quarter. And I just you feel like you've got to finish those and get them off the field for the last time and come in.
Right.
And it's a good defense. Too good to let the Chicago Bears do that.
I want to see a dominant game from start to finish.
Yes.
Yep.
That's what I want to see.
All right.
4 quarters, right? Four quarters.
Let's do it. All right. That'll do it for this segment. Back with more after this. Bob Sansevere on the other side. You're listening to the JimBob Sports Jamboree presented by The Window Store.
That was a good.
On behalf of Vikings legend Chuck Foreman and Fox 9's Jim Rich, I'm Bob Sansevere, and I want to say thank you to all of our listeners and our radio partners, KXRA in Alexandria, KRWC in Buffalo, KDHL in Faribault and Owatonna, KDAL and WDSM in Duluth, WNMT in Hibbing, KTOE in Mankato, AM 660 The Bear, WBHR in St. Cloud, and Wild 102 FM in Roseau. Also, KWOA AM FM in Worthington, and KKBJ in Bemidji, and Bob Total Country serving the Twin Cities of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and surrounding areas. We'll talk to you later.